On this occasion, we have an eminent personality with us, so let us show our gratitude towards him and felicitate him. Now I request Professor Sandeep Patil to felicitate Professor B.V. Virasar. We, being the Talidors who dream of a greener future, would like to use the sapling for felicitating our chief guest. Thank you, sir. I request TKIE TGCC team leader Vivek Davi to felicitate Professor Sandeep Patil. Thank you. As you all may be knowing, that Earth is made up of 79%.
Faculty advisors and party, TGCCA team, student coordinator. It gives me immense pleasure to be with you or to deliver a talk on land resource management. As land and water are the basic elements of the life support system, land resource has been subjected to a variety of pressures in recent years. What is alarming? That is overexploitation, and man is the chief culprit of this degradation. Land classification, if you see, the land which is fit for use, land which is having the potential for use, and land useless in foreseeable future. Like waterlogged land, marsh or saline or forest, mining land, or land which is used for industrial purpose can be treated as a potential lands or potential use lands. The lands like barren lands or snow-cropped mountains, this can be the useless land. As human being is concerned, we are mainly interested in what is land in use and what is land can be brought in use. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the earth has enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. Preserving, protecting, defending the land resource is our old age culture. The quote is also referred in Panch Mahabhutas: land, water, fire, sky, air, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash, Jal. So these are set of our divine forces. To quote, there are innumerable examples can be quoted for the traditional conservation of land. But with the advent of modern age, modernization, industrial growth, the tradition is fast deteriorating, mainly on account of consumerization, materialistic value systems, short-term profit-driven motives, and greed of the user. As a result, land has degraded, soil fertility has depleted, rivers are polluted, and forests are destroyed. If you go to the Indian scenario, India constitutes about 18% of the world population, 15% of the livestock population. Only 2% is geographical area in our country. 1% is forest area. and 0.4% is pastoral land. That is, per capita, if you think, availability of the forest is only 0.08% as compared to 0.8% of the world average. So this gives an alarm. To quote additional information, NRSA, National Remote Sensing Agency, the statistics says that 75.5 million hectares is a wasteland in our country, and out of which 58.1 million hectares waterlands or wasteland can be brought in use. So that means about 58 million hectares can be regained, or it can be brought to the productive level. At present, whatever the resources, whatever the various agencies, they are contributing for making the wasteland to productive lands, only the rate is 1 million hectare per year. So that means another 58 years are required to bring all the land in our country as a productive land. The entire area that supplied water to stream, what we call it as a drainage basin or catchment area or watershed. So that can be one of the topic of land management. So watershed or watershed management, referring to the watershed is geohydrological unit which drains at a common point. Management of watershed, it entails the rational of utilization of land and water resources for its optimum production, minimum hazard to natural resources. The objective of watershed management is to protect the soil, to protect the water, to protect the vegetation from degradation. So to add to my topic, I will go to the presentation on the PPT. Watershed, as it is defined, is in short it is a geohydrological unit which drains at a common point, or the definition whatever you are seeing. Watershed is an area of land or water bounded by a drainage divide which begin with surface of runoff, collects and flow out of the watershed through a single outlet into a larger river or lake. The types of watersheds as per the size and drainage and shape, that is macro watershed, sub watershed, milli watershed, micro watershed, mini watershed. The next slide shows the objectives of the watershed management, in which it is to control the damaging runoff and degradation and thereby conservation of soil and water. Like this, these are the following objectives with which we can see towards this particular subject, that is watershed management. Next please. It is the list of the various objectives of the watershed management, so you can go through it. Next please. As watershed management, the various structures suggested, engineering structures suggested, just with the help of the pictures. In short, I will highlight the various structures which are used for watershed management. Next please. So this is the first structure, engineering structure, that is broad beds and furrows, can be used for watershed management, particularly in the catchment area where the water is to be percolated to the groundwater or recharge of groundwater is required. In that case, we have to go for the broad beds and furrows. Definitely it will increase the productivity of the land, fertility of the land, and it will increase the groundwater. Next please. Second type of engineering structure, that is contour bed. But it is just like a obstruction for surface runoff or surface flowing water. Whenever retention of the water is there, automatically it will percolate to the ground and water table can be increased. Next please. Third is the bench terraces. This type of technique is very suitable in mountainous or sloping area where you can have the stepwise or stepped ground, in which again the percolation of water or storing of water to the ground and soil structure can be increased. Micro catchments. The picture, it is very much clear that groundwater or pooling of the water by soil can be increased. Particularly this technique is very suitable where the rainfall is less. As if you talk of rainfall, particularly in our state, it is around 1000 average millimeter. In hilly area, particularly Mahabaleshwar, Kannada, it is around 2000 millimeters, and the regions like Marathwada or some North Maharashtra, it comes up to be around 500. The areas where the rainfall is only 500, you can go for this macro catchment technique where the water can be stored in the soil substrate. This is one more technique, engineering technique for increasing the or storing of the water, what we call it as a check dam. It is a small dam over the nala or a stream where the water can be stored and again the groundwater can be improved. The next is percolation pond. It is a bigger size of check dam in which the basic purpose of percolation dam, name itself suggests, percolate the water to the ground and storing, lifting of water, using for irrigation purpose. That is not the purpose of percolation dam. The basic purpose of constructing the percolation dam is to increase the water table. Ultimately here, whatever the techniques we are studying or whatever we are observing in the photographs, I am showing it, that is the improvement of groundwater table. So improvement of groundwater, so that means the fertility, or it can be used for the productive purpose. The production of agricultural products can be increased by these techniques. Next please. The last, that is stone palace. It is a modified or a version of check dam, a larger scale where we go for stone masonry and obstruct the water, flow of the water and store it and increase the groundwater. So with this I conclude, friends. Thank you for inviting me and delivering a talk on land management and water management or land resource management. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for making us aware about protecting land from degradation and highlighting about watershed management. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us today's topic, that is land management. We sure learned a lot regarding it, starting from its importance.